So I'm going to call this an intuitive thoughts part 2, even though it's not really intuitive thoughts, but it is something that I was able to do as an intuitive. I'm a medium. I always tell people that I'm kind of a medium-sized medium. It is not my greatest talent. It is not my strongest gift. I am capable of doing it. When I do see and hear things, I am able to actually come up with some very, very accurate evidential mediumship. But it is not my most dominant thing that I do. It's not the thing that I'm the best at. Last night, I did pretty damn well. I had a couple of readings last night where that did come through very clearly. And when I went to bed last night, I kind of had this feeling like I was still connected. I think, to some degree, I may have been connected to Bob Ross. Because one of the very first things that I dreamt about last night was meeting Bob Ross. And it was weird because I had kind of floated into this really big room. It had a lot of people in it. And he was kind of tucked over in the corner by himself. And because he was by himself, I felt like maybe he was lonely. And so there was this part of me that's just who I am as a person, that I see the lonely person and I go and try to make sure that they're not lonely. And I went over and went to go and talk to him, and he was kind of excited to see me, and he was talking to me, and I asked him, why are you hiding over in the corner by yourself? And he's like, oh, no, I'm not by myself. I'm just waiting for my friend to come back. I have a new friend. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. Tell me about your friend. And he said he's kind of new here, and I'm kind of making sure that he's got his stuff covered. He makes these beautiful pieces that look like the ocean, or they look like water. And he was showing me these big glass things that looked like, and they may be acrylic. I don't know if they're glass or acrylic, but they were blue, and they looked like almost like crashing waves or big waves, lots of swirling pieces in it, but they were blue. And there was one piece in particular that I thought evoked a lot of emotion in me, because it was almost like this big, huge wall of blue, and it had all of this white foam looking type stuff at the top, but it was all one consistent piece, and it had bubbles in it. And it really did look like a crashing wave, but it was one solid piece of medium. It was like one solid piece of glass. And I remember thinking how incredibly beautiful that was. And I said to Bob, I was like, thank you for sharing this with me. I wish I could stay to meet your friend. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I get it. He's like, you go on. You keep going on. You've got other things to do. And I walked away from him, and the next thing I knew, I was awake going to the bathroom. And so did I travel and visit him particularly? I'm not sure. Like, there are some things. I've had enough experiences like this. This is not the first time that I've experienced what I believe is crossing over and talking to people who've passed on. I do that all the time. But this was a famous person, and I don't do that. That is not something that I do all the time. I was young when Bob Ross was a big thing. I remember watching him as a child, but I wasn't like a really huge follower of him. It's not like I watched his show religiously. I know that there was a resurgence of him more recently, but it's not my thing. I'm not an artist like that. I have done watercolors. I do have experience with art, but not that kind of art. I was never an acrylic painter. So I don't know why him, of all people, is somebody that I would have gone to see. But I do want to put this out there because I think that there may be a person who knows of this artist that he was waiting on and their work. And it may be something where his family or her family, it might even be a female, I don't know. I kind of had the feeling that it was a male though. But that they might want to know that their loved one is being waited for by Bob Ross and that they've made a friend. So there you go.